Hello, everyone. Welcome to the event today, to our webinar. We're going to be talking about how to accelerate growth on your product team at your company with fractional product managers or product people, designers, product marketers. And I am thrilled to be able to share some of my experience and some of Sembrar's experience engaging in this, how you can engage in with it properly. I am coming from Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. I hope you're all having a great day as well. If you are, hey, maybe just to get the energy going, maybe raise your hand. No one will see you. Raise your hand if you're having a good day, or just that you're here. Daryl, thank you for raising your hand. Great, Daryl, great to have you. I know I've talked with a few of you beforehand. Vicky, great. Thank you for being here. It's great to have you all. Wherever you're at, maybe some of you are in a beautiful place on a beach, high mountain, on a ski resort. That's where I would want to be, on a ski resort. So anyways, it's good to have you all here. Thanks for raising your hands and just engaging with me here. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know sometimes people take a little bit of time to roll in, but I also know you all have very busy days. And so we're just going to go ahead and get started today. So again, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm thrilled for this opportunity to discuss this approach and how you could significantly accelerate your business growth and add some flexibility to your product strategy as you're building out your product strategy, as you're building out your product. We're going to be talking about something I see as game-changing concept of using fractional product specialists. Have you ever felt on your team that you just had too many priorities to juggle? You're just way too busy. Maybe there's a tight budget. That's what we're going to go into today, how to overcome those things. And what I hope that you'll come out of this, the things that you're going to be getting out of this today is what is a part-time or a fractional product person? How do we define them? I know there's a lot of different definitions out there. You've probably heard of fractional CFOs or CMOs, but maybe fractional product or a fractional CPO or fractional product managers, designers, or product marketers is maybe a new concept to you. You probably wondered, how would that even work? Well, I'm excited to give you the definition. We'll briefly cover the benefits. I have personally been working in this for well over 2 years. Started Sembrar well over 2 years ago. Personally, I have been building products as a product manager and as a product leader for over 15 years. So I'm really excited to tell about the benefits, particularly as me, having that background and experience and seeing the benefits of it. Also, we're going to go through, how do you know it's right for you? How would you set them up for success if you're considering this? What do you look for in a fractional product manager, designer, product marketer? What do you really need to be looking for in the next? And after you decided you want to utilize this would be a good fit for you, then how do you maximize the impact for you, for your business, and getting the most value out of them? I'm just going to launch a real quick, I'm going to launch a real quick poll here. Maybe some of you have, maybe you thought about it, maybe you haven't thought about it. But at the end, I'm going to launch a real quick poll to just see how many have been considering it, would consider it for a fractional product person. Also, if you have any questions as we are going through, feel free to raise your hand and ask some questions. I'm going to try to get to them. I don't have my partner here today, but I'm going to do my best to make sure I find the questions. We'll go back, stop a few times, and just answer those questions. So that's what you're going to learn today, and let's get to it. So your everyday challenges, things that are really keeping you up at night. Are you stretched thin? Particularly in certain stages, you're stretched thin. You have so many different side projects that are going on. Or maybe you're just stuck trying to find the right expertise, but you have this double-edged sword where you need someone to come in now, but you also want to bring in the right person because this is a long-term commitment, bringing in the right person. You're possibly falling behind. You're feeling the pressure from your other team members, your CEO, other executives. Possibly it's your board if you're the founder. And always budgets are being cut, particularly in these days. budgets are being cut. There's just not nearly as much. I know these are problems that I've had, and I know that you probably had them, and they just keep on adding up every single day. Well, let's talk about then how would we define what a fractional product person is, and then we'll go through what it is and then some of the benefits. So first, the definition. On-demand product talent. These are just a few of the fractional product managers, designers, product marketers that we work with here, just to show you on the screen here. But these are experts within their fields. They have high experience. You've probably heard of the CFO and the CMO, fractional CFO and CMO. These are particular people that have executive level experience. They are coming in for maybe 5 hours a week to 10 hours a week. That was what traditionally has been called out as the fractional CFO or the CMO. And you have fractional CPOs now, which is something that Sembar does as well. They come in for a limited period of time, or I should say per week, maybe 5 hours. They're coming in to be a guide, I'll say a coach. They're helping set strategy. But you're still really running the day-to-day. More of these fractional executives that come in, again, are giving the coaching, the advising, but sometimes they're less about moving or turning the knob or pushing the buttons, but they're geared to give guidance, direction, to set strategy. In this case as well, we have fractional part-time product people. The way I define it and the way we're going to be defining it today is these are people that actually come onto your team and actually do the work. My background is I did work as a consultant for 5 years, and I'll say I pushed a lot of paper. And what I like to say about that is we created a lot of presentations about strategy and what a company should do, but we didn't actually push the buttons and turn the knobs and actually make the product work. And I wanted to turn that paradigm on its head. And so here, a part-time fractional product manager designer actually comes on, and they are a team member, but in part-time for maybe 10 hours, 20 hours a week. And so for the definitions today, they are again part-time and that fractional, the 10 to 20 hours a week, but they are team members sitting with you, and they're pushing buttons, they're turning knobs, they're getting the work done, and they are there as a team member to really move your product forward and to achieve outcomes. So that is what we want to set as the definition today. So what is the impact? Here are just a few of the impacts that I've seen from a fractional from our team. We have worked on 0 to 1 products, pre-revenue, helping companies with products that they had to get them to market. They didn't quite know what to build or exactly what to put into the product. We worked directly with the founder on early adopters program, and we help get these products to market before they had their first product manager. We've also worked with highly skilled, developed companies. So these are companies that they needed to increase onboarding. A fractional designer came in and was able to increase the onboarding experience or the conversion within the onboarding experience by 7% and increased revenue by 32% at that company. Fractional people can have a high impact, and we'll talk about why, but they really can come into your company, achieve those outcomes, and really move the ball forward without maybe taking on someone full-time. So these fractional people really can have a big impact on your business and on your product strategy and company. Okay, so how do you know? How do I know if a fractional product person is really right for my company and situations? And what I tell people is that it isn't always right. Just like any tool, it sometimes is right and it sometimes isn't right. So we want to talk about when is it right for you and when is it right for your company. So let's go through these. This will sound very similar to maybe some of the problems that we heard above, but we'll go through them in a little bit more depth. So is your team struggling with multiple initiatives, or is there a bandwidth issue? Real stories. A board member or a CEO one time came to me and said, hey, we have this really cool new idea. We want to attack it. We think it's the next big thing in the next year, and we really need to get that done. Well, I have a team of product managers. How are we going to get this done? After the discussions and negotiations, yes, we were going to do it. And it was up to me to figure out, well, how are we going to do it? So that was just adding another initiative on top of my plate. This would have been a great time to say, well, maybe a fractional person would be the right person to bring in at this point. Because I didn't want to distract all of my team members, I ended up doing that. I ended up distracting one of my best senior PMs, made them very frustrated because I loaded up their plate with way too much. And it ended up actually being a bad situation. That would have been a great time because of all the bandwidth issues to bring in someone fractionally. Other times, do you need to keep your FTEs really focused? Again, going back to that story. Your full-time product managers, designers, product marketers are already focusing on products within your business or areas within your business that are already generating revenue, and you just need to continue to build those. You need to continue to keep the momentum and build the momentum on those products. So if you're taking them away or getting them distracted, maybe this is a time to bring in someone else for another small side project to get that done. If you have critical projects that demand highly specialized expertise, this is also another time. And I'll give an example, real example from one of our clients. They were an auto tech company. So they focused on technology for vehicles and the like. They had some highly specialized needs around auth and authorization. They were implementing single sign-on. And so we had one of my product managers, highly experienced in auth and authorization, came in there for 9 months, was able to achieve the outcome, reduce the implementation, the onboarding time of someone with auth, and really had a big impact on their company without distracting their other employees who didn't have specialty within those spaces. They had this other product manager. They had one of our product managers come in and get that done for them. Hiring full-time product managers, if it doesn't make sense due to budget or a really uncertain future, but you still need that high expertise, this also might be a time to consider someone for your company, bringing them in fractionally. One of our clients, Zox, they had an early adopter program. They were a pre-revenue company. At the time that we joined with them, they needed someone high expertise within financial planning. One of my product managers had high expertise within financial planning. They were able to come in there, help them with that early adopter program, and help get them to revenue. And this was another time where a fractional person made sense. And I'll even say that they actually ended up hiring this PM away from me, which was fabulous, but it was a contract to hire. And because they were so successful in this early adopter program that we were able to get them to revenue, and they're continuing on today. You can go look them up. They're doing a fabulous, super success story of where a fractional person did a great job. Next thing, if you have a risky bet, a new product area that you want to attack, this goes back to the situation that I was in. They have a new product. They want to get this product out to market. You have limited resources to be able to put on these really what seem like highly important projects for your executive team, for yourself, for your CEO, and you want to go and tackle those. Well, you could distract the rest of your team, or you could bring in someone that maybe has high experience in 0 to 1 and bring them on to get that done for you without distracting your other team. So these are a few of the situations to really be looking for if a fractional product person is right for your company. So you've determined it's right for your company. Now, how do we make this fractional product talent successful? But before you even start, so what is important for success? What needs to be true for a fractional product person to be successful? And there are really 4 factors that I've come up with working with many different companies. 1, focused work and outcomes. So it's really 2 in 1, but it really needs to be focused work. Product managers typically have your full-time product managers, which is important. They typically have long 2, 3, 4 year type visions of where the product's going to go. It's really indefinite where this product is going to go, and they're really just trying to work on moving that product in towards that future. Well, but many times what we need to do to make a fractional product person successful is really draw a smaller box. What is a limited scope, a limited project that they need to come in and do? You don't want to give a fractional person a large, long-term, 3 to 4 year type project. Maybe you need strategy around that, and a fractional CPO could really help with that. But having a fractional product manager, designer, or product marketer really come in for something that's very key, and I like to say a small box. What is the small box that they're going to work in? And then also aiming after what are the outcomes? They need to have very clear outcomes of what they are going to achieve by the end of the 6 months, 9 months, maybe even shorter, 3 months. But by the end of this time, what do you really want them to achieve? And this probably sounds similar. You want your, I subscribe to product teams having clear outcomes where they need to be achieving. But again, this fractional product person needs to have a clear focused area with an outcome that they need to achieve within time boxed area. And that's what we want to go to next. This needs to be time boxed. A product can sometimes be ambiguous. You could spend 20 hours doing a task, or you could spend 40 hours doing a task. So give it a time boxed space for which this person is going to work to do research, to understand the problem, to really dig into potential solutions to solving the problem, and also working with your development team, whether that is in-house or offshore or some other. They're going to be working with this team, working with you to really build out those requirements. So really put it within a box. Give it a time boxed area which they can work. And that will make the fractional product person very successful. What I want to say is what doesn't make it successful and what it's not is these aren't FTEs. So I'm going to say this and say they are not a leadership type role. So you don't want them going in there, and you don't want them managing maybe 2 or 3 other type product managers. You want them really focusing on their individual area. With that said, one of the side benefits of having a fractional person that is highly experienced, many years of experience, is if you have a more junior team, what we found is they act as an up-leveling. You bring them in, and they can really help up-level the rest of your team. But again, to make them successful, you don't necessarily want them in the directing or a leadership role that they for a fractional person. All right. Let's move on to the next, and then maybe I'll take a few questions, or I'll make sure we don't have any questions from the audience. Okay, so what do you want to look for in a fractional product person? So now you've gone through all these things. You want to set them up for success. You've clearly defined what they're going to be working on. You know what the time box that they're going to work in. So how do I choose someone for this area? So look for people with experience. I personally don't recommend using someone that is maybe mid in their career or junior in their career, but they're really approaching a senior, maybe they're a principal level product designer or product manager, someone who has high experience within their specific area. And there's several reasons why. One, you want them to get up to speed quickly. You're not going to be coaching this person. They're coming in to get work done for you. There's already going to be a small ramp period for them to just learn maybe a little bit of the context, but you need someone highly experienced because they either know their industry or they know a discipline or a certain subject very well, and they're going to come in and understand that area, get caught up to speed very quickly, and senior people are typically better at doing this than maybe more junior people, and they've also already gone through a lot of the tools, what works, what doesn't work, so they're not in that learning curve. Industry and discipline, I think, is also critical as you've determined what area they're going to work on. Do you need them industry specific or do you need them discipline specific? And I believe those are 2 key areas for making someone fractional successful. So as you're considering that, someone who is also a strong communicator, that they're able to communicate quickly. Again, because this is time box and it's limited, you don't want someone who is not brief, that's not excellent at just communicating the most important items, because you don't have all the time in the world for them to really communicate exactly what they need. So they have to be a really strong communicator in that. Additionally, independent worker. These are going to be independent. These people are going to be typically working very independently because you want them typically on a smaller team. They're going to be working independently. They need to be able to drive themselves, drive the outcomes, and really own that ownership area. Now, that doesn't mean that they work alone, but they need to be self-motivated, self-driving, moving these things, moving the project and the product forward. Also, efficiency-oriented. Again, because of the limited time and because you are paying them to come in and really get the job done, they really need to be efficient in the work. Thus, though, goes back to why they need to be more senior and skill. Is typically that means that they're going to be more efficient in doing the work and knowing what type of questions to ask and making sure that they can get to the answers quickly, whether they're a designer, a product manager, or a product marketer. They just have the skills. They know how to be efficient and how to work efficient. And it is amazing. I'll tell you, it is really amazing what someone that is highly focused, highly experienced can get done in 10 to 20 hours a week if they're really put on a small area. It's incredible. I would sometimes put them up against someone working full time who's stuck in meetings all day and maybe some of the politics within the company. All right. Let's maybe go on to how to maximize impact on your team, and then I will take questions from there. So how to maximize impact. So get to know their working style. So now you've brought them on, you're bringing them onto your team. You want to make sure you know how they work, how they communicate. All of us communicate a little bit differently. You also need to set expectations with them of how you want to communicate. Make sure they have all the tools necessary to communicate properly, whether that is by text, Slack, any other communication device. Do you like long form communication? Do you like short form communication? How do you communicate? Make sure you're really establishing this up front and establishing how they work. So be prepared to get, before they ever start, be prepared to get a lot of the administrative work done before they start. So if they need some of our clients, they need us to have a whole separate computer to work on. So we make sure that is sent, that is set up. Sometimes they don't want to work on a Sembrar email address or the Sembrar work environment, so they work in the company's own environment. They have their own different email address. So make sure that is all set up prior to them starting, and you get all that administrative work just out of the way and completed prior. So have documentation for them to read immediately. Like, get them ready and get them started for success. Just put them in and have all that documentation, have all the people that they need to be talking to really ready from day one to start talking with them and already set up. You know those people and you know those areas, so really set them up for success. I'll also say is just introduce them to just enough people. You don't want them to, let's say you have a team of 100 people or 200 people. You don't need them meeting the whole company. You just need them meeting the people that they're going to be working with on a day-to-day basis. Then there might be one or two other people that they need to work with occasionally. Well, you can introduce them to them afterwards. But really I recommend the 3 to 4 people that they're going to be working with or they need to know immediately. Get them either on an initial kickoff call or get them with them initially just to get to know them closely. And I think that's critical. Again, keep that sphere of context really small. 2, have an outline of at least 2 weeks of what they're going to work on. Now, after the first week, the second week is going to change. And after the second week, the project might look a little bit completely different. But really make sure you have at least 2 weeks of work that they're going to be getting done before they even start. And again, assure you have listed out and you have very clear with them, with yourself, what are the outcomes that need to be achieved together. So really, as you're starting out, this is how you help maximize with yourself and with your team to maximize the time that you have together. So I'm going to stop quickly there. There is a few more things that we want to go back, but I want to just see if there's any questions. Doesn't look like there's any questions. Is there any questions as of right now on the things that we've talked about, or how to make them successful, or maybe what you need to be looking for within your company? Well, if there are, I do have my Q&A now up, so I can monitor how that is going as we continue on here. But feel free to ask those questions as we can continue on. All right. So what I want to jump to next is, how does Sembrar do this? What is the way that Sembrar approaches this? I want to just tell you more about how the Sembrar fractional way, what we do, and you can kind of see everything we've learned in here kind of funneled through this. Now, I've given you some of the basics, but what Sembrar does is we really come in. We have the talent already on hand, and I think that's sometimes important. Sometimes looking for a fractional person can be as hard as looking for a full-time person. Sembrar already has a lot of that talent already on hand to come in and do the work. We help scope out, understand if this is a proper project, and making sure that the project is properly scoped, that to assure that the outcomes of the product and the project are specifically met. We also maintain a very high quality and high touch on the project with you and also with your PM partner that you're working with, maintaining it throughout the project to assure that things are accomplished, that things are moving forward. And that's a great way to assure success. We're constantly reviewing and interviewing and understanding how are things going, and giving both you tips and the PM partner, which has already done these projects before, but making sure you have all the support that you need to make sure that the project is going well. And I think that's important in order for the outcomes to be achieved, just to make sure that there's a high level of continuity from the beginning all the way to the end. So Sembrar, we work with lots of different SaaS companies from fintech, health tech, martech, insurance, auto tech. We worked with IoT, so we do a little bit of interplay between hardware and software. And we primarily work with founders and product leaders, product directors, VPs of product, CPOs, from many of these different companies who really need that additional support from a partner like Sembrar that can bring in the fractional talent and understand the projects and really have success with this moving forward. We work with companies, we've worked with many different types of companies from zero revenue all the way up to billions of dollars. But our primary sweet spot is really revenue between $1 million and 50 million from a seed round all the way up to a Series A, Series Type B growth. Our average project for these designers, product managers, and product marketers is just 10 to 20 hours a week. So it is not a ton of time, but they really come onto your team, and we integrate them with, again, that small team to really get a lot of work done. And again, it is amazing what they can get done with highly experienced individuals coming in for just 10 to 20 hours a week. And there is a quick question here. Let's see. I'm looking to, so the question is, I'm looking to undertake a major front-end redesign of our B2B SaaS platform. I don't currently have a dedicated front-end or UX designer in the org and plan to advocate to add one early in 2025. Better to have someone in-house as an FTE hire, or is it potentially a good fit for fractional work? It could be really good for fractional work, depending upon the stage that you're at. It also could be good for a full-time hire, depending upon where you need to get. Like, what is your next milestone that you need to get to as a company? If you have a long runway and it is really ambiguous what you need to be doing in the future, then probably a full-time hire is going to be good for them. But if you have it very clear where you need to get to, like the milestones that you need to achieve, then a fractional might be a good fit here, because sometimes in those early stages, it's yo-yoing. You need lots of time, and then you don't need any time as you understand and you're learning what needs to happen. So instead of having them sit on the sideline, wondering what to do because you need to wait and gather information for 2 to 3 months, having them come on and flex, being able to flex that time and that capacity, but continuing continuity of the same person can actually be very beneficial. So happy to talk with you more about your situation. It could be that you really do need a full-time person, or it could be that a fractional person would fit. It really depends on what is that next stage that you need to get to. So great question. All right. Thank you for asking it. Okay. Also, why work with Sembrar? Again, the expertise, the guidance. We have these team members with specific industry experience and subject experience that can come in and get the work done quickly. They're already up to speed on their area or in the industry, and they already know how to do product. They can come in, help you, or even help your team really up level. It's a flexible mode. To that question earlier, this is really a flexible model where if you know that you're going to need more time and then less time, and it's going to flow more and less over time, then this could be a great model for that. You also get to really accelerate time to market. Maybe you're just moving so fast that you don't want to distract your current team, and you just need someone to accelerate a few areas. And really those bursts in speed, think of us as your turbo. We can turbo that forward, move a few things forward quickly, and without needing to bring on someone onto the books full time. Reduces risk. So many of the companies that we work with, the reason they come to us is because we reduce the risk on some of the budgetary line items. They need a high expert, but they don't want to take on the risk of that full-time person and just the cost efficiency of that as the last part of it. I would love to tell you more about fractional product, whether that is PM, designer, or a product marketer. I'm going to just put here real quick in the chat. If you are considering this, or if this is something that is of interest to you, I did put just a 15-minute calendar. I'll put it here in the chat. There is a calendar. Schedule time with me. We can talk about your specific situation. Whoever asked that question, happy to spend a little time with you or more time with you. Happy to spend more time with you to understand the specific situations. And I'll give you my honest assessment. If I don't have anyone or if I don't think it's a good fit, there is enough potentially bad situations that we don't want to get into. And we want to make sure it's successful. So we'll really tell you whether it's going to be whether we think we can be successful, or whether you should use someone full-time or part-time. Go ahead, feel free to schedule time with me to go in and do that. We'll also send this out afterwards that you can schedule that time. Again, we have lots of experience. We've worked with many different customers, many different clients, many different situations in all types of industries. And we can have that experience to help you. I'm happy to move on really to any other Q&A or questions that you might have. I know many of you are busy. If you need to drop off, go ahead and drop off, but happy to answer any questions at this time on how to make fractional successful, or any questions you might have about Sembrar and how we work. Webinar chat is disabled. Oh gosh, Daryl, I'm sorry. Let me see. Oh, here it is. There's the Calendly. Daryl, did you see it? Should be there now. I realized I didn't send it out to everyone. It was too specific. So there's the Calendly link to schedule some time. Would love to talk with you and get that, hear more about your situation. Again, I'll just sit here. I can chat with you more. I'm sure many of you are dropping off at this point. It was great having you. I love product. I love discussing product. If you're just looking for someone to talk shop, I love talking shop. I love talking all these things. You can also follow me on LinkedIn. I talk a lot about product topics on LinkedIn. We have regular webinars that we do. If you want to go onto the website, www.sembrar.io, go look at all of our past webinars we've done with all types of product leaders, founders, pretty interesting topics all there. That's on our website. So we do these pretty regularly. We will send you out updates on those. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you've gained something out of this. I know I have. I'll just sit here and shut up. And if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Let's see, Alex. I'm an experienced PM focused mainly on e-commerce and post-order experience. Okay. All right, everyone. It doesn't look like there's any more questions. Again, thank you for joining today. We will send out the recording of this. I hope you all have a fabulous day, and I look forward to talking with many of you afterwards. Yes, Peter, we do have it answered, or we do have it recorded, we will send it out to you afterwards. Peter, also, I've put the Calendly. If you do want to just, I'm happy to give you a quick overview. So please, you can find some time with me on that Calendly link, and I'm happy to answer. Actually, let me. Looks like some of you are still out there. Let me just do a quick poll for those that want to learn more. so I can get quick names. Let me just launch that. Maybe that will also help prompt. All right. Okay, well, thanks everyone, and have a great day.